The only reason people have differences is because they haven't taken the time to come closer and understand those people.
How can people in organizations get them together? Because that's hard, right?
It's about women sitting on tables where decisions are made.
And what do we talk about in the conversation?
The question is not about not being a victim, because some people are actually victims. And some people are not socialized to speak up.
I'm sometimes afraid that I'm offending somebody.
Just mention race, culture, people are, everyone is quiet.
And what, because you know what? I feel that too.
Find your unique value, use it, raise your hands, and get the opportunities that you deserve.
This is our first film of this project, so you're going to be the first. And maybe you're more often the first, right? I guess so.
Maybe.
When I saw you first in Rise and Lead, and then we had this meeting upstairs, do you remember? Mm-hmm. It was like an entrepreneurial moment, and that was the moment that you really impressed me. That I was like, oh my God, she's really a strong woman who knows a lot about doing business, and I felt like your inspiration, I felt it like coming to me, like, yes, I can do it as well. So it was really like this special moment. And when I thought about filming this project, I thought, I want to interview you. No, I just want you to start with telling who you are.
My name is Ebere Akadiri. I'm the founder of Rise and Lead Women and the co-founder of Ataro Group. Rise and Lead Women is a platform that supports ambitious women to achieve their leadership aspirations. The Rise and Lead Summit, where I met you for the first time, right? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Oh
yeah.
my God, what did you take away from the summit?
The whole energy. I mean, I felt like there's this poem, I will send you, it's called The Too Much Woman.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and it says like, we as women, we want too much. We are either we want it all. Yeah, we're too loud, too bold, too ambitious, too eager. Yeah. We want it all, right? We want to have beautiful food in the kitchen and be a great leader. So, and I really felt that too much woman. There were a lot of too much women, but I don't think they're too much. They're just being exactly good enough. You just mentioned that you're so passionate about cultural and gender diversity. Yeah. Why?
When I had a restaurant in Nigeria, I needed to raise funds to start a restaurant business. First time I went to an investor, he didn't take me seriously. I think I had to go to 7 banks until I met a bank manager who was a woman. And she listened to my story and she believed me. She had to go to their board chair to convince them to let me have this money. And they did. They gave me the money. That really helped me to, become the business owner that I am today, because I had the finances to run a successful business.
Can you maybe tell me, what does it mean for you, the words diversity, equity and inclusion?
Let me use this kitchen as an example. So assuming that we want to bring different people into this kitchen, and they all come in, people, it doesn't matter, they just come in from different places. For me, that is diversity, when there are those differences. And then you value them. You listen to them and value their opinion. And when we talk about equity, so assuming that we are cooking, because my background is a restaurant, when you bring different people, maybe some are tall, some are short. So for those who are short, who can't reach this table, maybe you give them a stool to stand. For some people, especially the Dutch, they don't like hot pepper. Some people don't eat hot food. You have to also consider them and make sure you have different types of dishes, some hot and spicy, some not hot and spicy. So then you're thinking about equity, because you are listening to different people and trying to allow them to participate on this kitchen table. And then when we talk about inclusion, we're talking about inviting all of those people to eat without excluding anyone. It's about bringing people together and valuing their differences and their opinions and their perspectives.
Oh, thank you. This is so clear now. I love it when people use these very concrete examples.
Yeah. The only reason people have differences or they think some people are maybe dumb but stupid is because they haven't taken the time to come closer and understand those people.
Wow.
Yeah, because everybody brings some kind of beauty, some kind of differences in their thoughts, in their perspectives, and it makes it to become a rich environment with different cultures, different opinions, and different perspectives.
I love what you're saying, and also it makes me curious because I'm thinking about a lot of situations where people not agree, right? And they get into a fight or they're separated, and you say like that's only because they are not coming close enough to each other, right? But how can people in organizations get them together? Because that's hard, right?
It is not hard. I've heard this several times. In Rise and Lead, we've been doing this for 7 years, bringing corporate leaders together to discuss about how to make their corporate environment more inclusive. I can still remember in 2018 when there was a man at the door. He asked me, "What is that you were doing?" I said, "Okay, we're trying to support women to rise to leadership." And he said, "No, women should be in the kitchen. Women, they have to take care of
You are in the
children."
kitchen right now.
Exactly. I know that we can be in the kitchen, but we can also lead. For me, it's about women sitting on tables where decisions are made. In Rise and Lead, we told women that, listen, it's going to take a very long time to close the gender leadership gap. I think it's about 134 years by the World Economic Forum, right? Are you ready to be fighting and, trying to wait until then? No. So in Rise and Lead, we use a two-pronged approach. While we continue to advocate for corporate leaders, organizations, society, to stop all these gender bias, to stop all these stereotypes against women, to pay women well, we also try to equip the women to go out there and speak for themselves. Like find your voice, find your unique value, use it, raise your hands, and get the opportunities that you deserve. That's what we do at Rise and Lead Women.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful because on the one hand, you need the women to stand up, and I guess this is for all the people who feel excluded, right?
Yes.
In any case.
In any case.
Yeah, it's like first you stop being a victim and raise your voice, get some help, people surrounding you to support you, and also change the system, right? So they're like, I was just wondering, how would you see that change going faster within?
And the question is not about not being a victim, because some people are actually victims and some people are not socialized to speak up, okay? And so they suffer in silence. So what we now do, what we've found in Rise and Lead is that when we come together, we have something we call mentoring circle, where the conversations are not recorded. We get people to speak from their heart what they are passing through, their situations. I've seen a lot of cases where women are crying because of what they are going through in their offices, how their bosses are treating them. And then we kind of encourage them and give them tips on what to do, right? Then gradually the women start to build that, build their voice, build
Confidence.
the courage. Sometimes they're confident, but kind of gain that courage to become more assertive, to say, hey, no, that belongs to me. You can't steal my ideas. They are mine. Okay, because we've heard about such instances before. But when a woman feels victimized, I think it's important as a community that we all rally around the woman, first believe that woman, and then find a way to support them. Excluding people and then other small group will make decisions that affect those people is not fair. And so right now, I can tell you, people are becoming more comfortable talking about gender equality, but people are still uncomfortable discussing about cultural diversity. just mention race, culture, people are, everyone is quiet.
And what, because you know what, I feel that too. So I
Why is
recognize.
that? Yeah.
No, I have that too, because I always feel like I just don't know enough about it, and it makes me uncomfortable because I feel like there's something not wrong, but there's something different. And there is something different. I mean, we have a different skin color, but still, and it's in some situations, because I lived in South America, and I met so many people, but in some situations I feel uncomfortability with the race thing. But maybe you can
talk to you more about that, right?
Yeah, I would love to hear about that.
I would like to talk about that.
Yeah, me too. Let's talk about it.
The truth is that growth requires change. Okay? Innovation requires change. And as humans, we don't like to change. And so many people have been socialized in a certain way. And the bad thing is that some of those socialization, is about culture. They've taught us that we are better than some people. Some people keep them away, right? And so trying to talk about this to somebody who already is enjoying that privilege, the person knows that you're talking to them to change their behavior. They don't want it. So that what is keeping people uncomfortable is not the topic. It's because of something is going to take away from them, something they are already used to. Okay? And that's why when you start talking about it, it start affecting some people's feelings. Start making them uncomfortable. But remember, some people who are feeling excluded have been feeling terrible all their lives. And so why can't we make some people uncomfortable temporarily? Just to help them to become aware about how they are excluding other people that, they are feeling terrible all their lives.
And
that's why we need to have these conversations. They are tough, they are hard.
And what do we talk about in the conversation?
What do we talk about is, for example, you have said is because you don't know enough. Then ask.
Yeah.
Become curious.
Yeah.
Just like you're asking me some questions now. Ask people who are affected, what do you want to learn about them? Ask them.
But
I'm
I'm sometimes afraid that I'm offending somebody.
In what way?
By asking, for example, because I know my sister-in-law is from the Dominican Republic. She has a dark skin. And I know from her experience that she's experiencing sometimes that people are discriminating her, or that she's getting a different approach than a white person, for example.
Yeah.
So I know, and I'm just really curious how it is to be black. I'm very curious.
I don't think it's about trying to know how is it to be black. I think it's about knowing that those differences exist. Because differences in color, everybody has differences in opinion and culture. But one thing you must know is that we are all humans. And the question is, as humans, what do you need? You need respect. You need dignity. You need inclusion. You need to belong, right? The same person who doesn't look like you, they also need the same thing. That's where to start from. We start by treating people as humans and stop thinking about the fact that we are different. Yes, we are different. We are all beautiful in our differences, but we are human beings and we need the same thing as everyone else. Respect, dignity, inclusion, belonging, and great opportunities to become great leaders in companies. We need those opportunities.
Yeah, so on the one hand you say it's very important that we talk about the differences because there are differences. But on the other hand you say we're all human beings and we're equal. But there's still something...
Yeah, because you asked me where do you start from?
Yeah.
I said start from knowing that I'm a human being.
Yeah.
That's where you start from. When you first of all have that mindset that I'm relating to a human being like me, you won't be thinking about where do I start from, where do I start? No, you won't. So you go with the flow, right? You don't have to sit down to know all my sufferings before you treat me right. That's what I'm trying to say. Of course, I've seen a lot of situations where let's bring black people to talk about, listen, why are we doing that? What if I say, let's bring white people to come and talk about their privileges? What I'm saying is like, let's first of all, remember that we all need the same thing. That is the bottom line. If we know we need the same thing, we treat people right. Then the second step is curiosity. Everybody is always curious when they see somebody who looks different, right? Even like a child. Instead of thinking about it, the question is, what questions do you want to ask the person? Get to ask them the question directly. Yeah. You know, there's really nothing wrong with having different skins. It's, in the end, we all want the same thing. For me, that is the most important thing. And that's how to treat people right.
I was curious what you still want to know about diversity, equity and inclusion. What is a question that you're still doubting, or that you say like, I would love to know more about it because maybe I can ask it to the next interviewee?
Why are you into diversity and commitment? Are you doing it as ticking box, greenwashing, or is there really a passion to see other people, especially marginalized people, to be included? That is the main question we should ask people. And are you ready to change your behavior and your mindset and develop empathy that can help you support other people who are marginalized?
Wow. Such inspiring words. So to summarize, it's very important that you as a leader look broader than your own bubble, and that you dare, because it takes courage, right? To take a different path, to hire somebody who doesn't look like you, to jump into the big adventure like Alice in Wonderland, because you don't know what's going to happen. But if you just do what you always did, you will get what you always got, right?
Exactly.
That's a good way to end. Okay, thank you very much for watching this beautiful interview. And please let me know if you have any questions and comments. I would be happy to answer them, or Ebere wants to answer them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Sabine.